Wow, this is a good-looking group, isn't it? Before I begin with my remarks, I think we really owe the young people who were members of the robotics team a round of applause. I mean, they are the reason why we're here. So can we give it up for them? Good afternoon. It's a great day to be living here in Louisiana. On behalf of our Governor, Bobby Jindal, and Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Stephen Moret, I congratulate and award and applaud all the nominees, awardees, and members of the Louisiana Technology Council. I'm honored to share this wonderful celebration of Louisianans' creativity, courage, and perseverance with you. It takes a lot to start a new company, to defy convention, to embrace the space outside of the box, and to keep pushing forward as the nodes mount. Today is a celebration of those companies and the families and friends behind them who energize these awardees, prop them up when giving up feels like the rational thing to do, and act as emergency bookkeepers, marketing support, and salespeople. I want to frame my comments today in the context of a credo for living that my father used to hang on the wall of each of his offices. Before I present a few lines from my father's credo, Desiderata, by Max Ehrlichman, I want to say a few words about him, since none of us is here solely by virtue of our merit, and my father's appreciation of the need to use all opportunities for learning is a significant reason why I find myself with the honor of speaking to you today. My father, Quentin Sr., was an educator and Army officer. He was a retired lieutenant colonel. The only son of an impoverished family, my dad was born the fifth of 9 children. He had, in all, 10 sisters. While my grandparents were severely limited in financial resources and education, neither of them reached the 6th grade, they were abundantly wealthy in vision for their own children. They instilled in my dad a sense of the power of God, perseverance, resiliency, and a relentless objectivity to continually examine how to be better and to get better. Many of you in your lives understand and live those words: persistence, resiliency, and objectivity. Fast forward to the late 70s or early 80s. I'm so old I can't remember anymore. Each summer, my dad would drive our family on a vacation, those infamous car vacations, you remember them. While in the car, my dad sought to maximize learning opportunities by quizzing my brother and me on state capitals, U.S. presidents, mathematics facts, and particularly for me, the locations of my favorite college football teams, many of which were in the Southeastern Conference. On one particularly hot summer vacation, we headed west on I-10 from our home in Jacksonville, Florida. Our first stop was in New Orleans. During that visit, not only did we see Canal Street, but we also saw Tulane's Green Wave, the privateers of UNO, Dillard's Blue Devils, and Xavier's Gold Rush. While those stops were cool, as we headed west to Houston for our next overnight stop, I insisted that we stop in Baton Rouge to see LSU in the stadium that's so loud and so fearsome that they call it Death Valley. When we exited the interstate to assuage my insistent demands, I saw the LSU lakes and the homes on Lakeshore Drive and thought they were so beautiful. LSU was definitely going on my college list. As a proud alumnus of a historically black college, my father reminded me that there were 2 species of cats roaming in Baton Rouge, and we stopped at the Bluff, home of Southern University, and saw the bend in the Mississippi toward Natchez. It was beautiful in a haunting way, and I was hooked to this enchanted state, although I didn't know it at the time. It would take me almost 30+ years to get back, but here I am. It would take journeys on the bends of many personal rivers for me to flow to you this afternoon, for you, thank you. But as I recall the words of my dad's credo, Desiderata, it all makes sense for me personally, and more importantly, for this technology and innovation movement within our beloved state in which we're all active participants. Quoting from Desiderata, "If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideas, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Using this passage from Desiderata as my frame, over the next few minutes, I'd like to tell you how the LTC, each of you, LED and its regional economic development allies, and post-secondary institutions across our great state are working together to enhance the state's business environments so that more companies are able to create high-paying jobs that provide opportunities for more Louisiana University graduates to build their lives right here, right now in our great state. Quoting from Desiderata, "If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself." One of the important improvements that has occurred under the Jindal administration is in the national perception of the state's business climate. We saw the slides earlier. In major business publications such as Forbes, Site Selection, Chief Executive, and Area Development, Louisiana's standing in the minds of business executives and site selectors has improved. No longer are we just a state where you go to party or play football, but we are increasingly seen as a state where companies go if they seek flexible, thoughtful, collaborative approach to business growth and workforce development. International brand names such as CenturyLink, IBM, GE, EA, and Gameloft have decided to open new operations in our state. With these anchors, Louisiana's innovation ecosystem has taken promising root. But are we fully embracing the opportunity that lies within our grasp? How often we hear about what's not here in Louisiana? Not enough risk capital, not enough deal flow for angel investors, not enough support from LED or state government. We aren't Texas. There are no Dell computers springing up here. Raising Cane's moved its headquarters to Dallas. While comparisons can be helpful in simplifying purchase decisions for major consumer purchases or managing fantasy football teams, you heard about the 6-2 Peace, Love, and Hair Grace squad. Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback, by the way. They cannot become the organizing paradigm for making decisions about your company's futures, nor governmental policy decisions about technology or innovation. While we celebrate the rankings progress that we have made within the state, not only do we realize that much remains to be done with regard to increasing risk capital availability, nurturing startups into investment-worthy, ongoing businesses, and enhancing the utilization of some of the most aggressive R&D and digital media tax incentives, but also we know that so much of the success of an innovation ecosystem is about building a zeitgeist. That belief about a place that says there's endless possibilities when dreamers connect in conference rooms, coffee houses, or in the nearly dozen state-supported incubators located throughout our state. We must stand firm in our shared, unshakable belief that we are indeed building a Silicon Bayou that is highly innovative, but distinctively and uniquely Louisianan. My father always told me, be your own best cheerleader. Events like today help in cheering these Louisiana companies. Let our enthusiasm not be diminished by what we do or don't have relative to other states, but fueled by a greater focus on our shared plans for growth and development. Again from Desiderata, enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Many of you might have asked yourself, why do I keep at it? Am I crazy? Is it worth it? There's a big company that would pay me a lot of money and I don't have to worry about payroll or landing the next big account. It would be easier to join them. Thankfully, you persist. You persist. You persist. You refuse to give up. You refuse to give in. You insist on daring to build the next great company right here in our Louisiana. You resist the temptation to do the easy thing, since your plans are at stake. The dreams that are cracked open at crawfish boils, plucked from the world of good ideas like the cotton that grows across our state. While you may not yet have the riches of Tom Benson, Your fierce protection of your plans is a treasured possession amid gridlock in Washington, instability in the Middle East, and general uncertainty about tomorrow. I hope that today can be savored for a long time by each of our nominees and award recipients. As true today as when Shakespeare wrote the words, "This above all, to thine own self be true." Those assembled here have taken Shakespeare's words to heart, and our state is reaping the benefit. My father always told me, if they don't put a roof over your head, or food on your table, then they shouldn't have a voice in dreaming your dreams. I implore you to remain true to your dreams of building great companies right here, right now in our Louisiana. Let's work together smartly and with a relentless urgency to make Louisiana work for our growing entrepreneurial class, especially those engaged within the knowledge sectors of the 21st century. Desiderata continues, exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideas, and everywhere life is full of heroism. While the entrepreneurial road can feel lonely, you need not walk it alone here in Louisiana. There are many people and organizations throughout our state striving for these high ideas of entrepreneurship, innovation, and creating opportunities for their fellow Louisianans. I want to highlight only a few. Louisiana economic development. One of the first transformative legislative acts of this administration passed in partnership with the state legislature was the creation of the Louisiana Innovation Council. The council is comprised of successful entrepreneurs, state legislators, higher education leaders, and economic development professionals. The mandate for the LIC is to develop policy and legislative recommendations that would accelerate the development of a dynamic innovation ecosystem that builds upon the state's traditional industrial strengths in energy and petrochemicals while growing companies in emerging growth sectors. Believing that a good job is the best anti-poverty measure, Louisiana Economic Development has set an ambitious target of 38,000 net new jobs created annually in the state of Louisiana during each of the next 20 years. Job growth at this 38,000 annual level would enable Louisiana to surpass her historical job growth and match the job growth projections of our aspiration states, those being Georgia, North Carolina, and a certain state immediately to our west. And as part of this job growth effort, LED retained McKinsey & Company nearly 5 years ago to help LED identify those sectors and industries that were anticipated to grow significantly enough to support such a needed job expansion. The identified sectors became known then as the blue ocean sectors. Nearly a half-decade later, LED has learned a lot about those sectors, now known as emerging growth sectors. LED has refined its focus on those sectors based upon anticipated job growth within these sectors, the state's unique competitive strengths, effects of the Great Recession, the real experience of wooing companies to relocate here, and broader macroeconomic changes experienced within these sectors during these intervening years. Today, while committed to opportunistic expansion in the original 12 emerging growth sectors, LED has narrowed its focus to 5 emerging growth sectors. These sectors are 1, digital media and enterprise software, 2, coastal and water management, 3, clean technology, specifically renewable energy and energy efficiency, 4, advanced manufacturing, specifically automotive, shipbuilding, chemical manufacturing, and finally, next generation oil and gas. Each of the aforementioned sectors is supported by a dedicated business development executive within LED. To augment our efforts, last year, LED retained Battelle Memorial Institute to develop a research and innovation asset inventory of Louisiana's major research universities to understand how the intellectual and research assets in our universities align with industry expectations for research institutions in each of these emerging growth fields. I cannot emphasize enough how important post-secondary education is to our economic growth and development. At the end of the day, if post-secondary education is not a partner, then we have failed. It's just as simple as that. As part of the findings of Patel work, LED was able to share with the Board of Regents and individual universities industry's expectations of universities along 4 dimensions for each of these emerging growth sectors. These dimensions are 1, research, 2, signature facilities, 3, talent, and 4, industry-university collaborations. The Board of Regents. Enthusiasm about post-secondary education's potential to make a greater contribution to economic development, as well as engagement of many folks present today, led the Board of Regents Master Planning Research Advisory Committee to create 6 task forces in each of the following areas. 1, life science and bioengineering. 2, digital media and enterprise software. 3, coastal and water management. 4, advanced manufacturing. 5, clean technology and energy. And 6, technology transfer and commercializations. These 6 task forces will help ensure that the Patel research becomes a living strategic analysis that informs future research investment through our state. These Board of Regents task forces are evidence of a broader, ongoing efforts on the part of post-secondary institutions to jointly partner with LED and industry to build a more diversified economy by leveraging university research and the graduates that these institutions produce. As our Secretary, Stephen Moray, has said repeatedly, higher education is a critical partner in creating an innovation ecosystem within the state. It's great to see Madam President, Dr. Sandra Woodley, with us here today. Her presence is not accidental. I mean, she gets it. She really gets it. She understands the fundamental relationship between talent and winning the race when it comes to economic growth and development. Dr. Woodley and all of our higher education leaders, the dean here, I could not go without acknowledging him. There's so many friends from UNO. It speaks to the fact that we've got undervalued, often underappreciated talent here in our post-secondary institutions. And we have to go forth and spread the message loudly and clearly that Louisiana isn't just for great athletes, and I love football and basketball like everybody else, but it's for great thinkers, these young people in the back who created these robots that I don't even understand. I was scared of the Frisbee. They are the future. They are the Louisiana message that we need to get out there. I should note, this past week, I had the pleasure of attending the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Louisiana Cancer Research Center, which is a testimony to the power of collaboration, political courage, creativity, and the endless possibilities that can be achieved within our great state when we Louisianans come together and work together towards shared outcomes and goals. The Louisiana Community and Technical College System. Research-based higher education is only one part of the post-secondary equation within our state. LCTCS is an important asset in our state's effort to win the talent race among our southern peer states and nationally. In order to continue to attract companies like GE, Gameloft, and IBM to Louisiana, we need not only our 4-year institutions to graduate more computer scientists and engineers, but also we need our community colleges to graduate more talent and act as a feeder to our 4-year institutions to produce more young people who will be your future employees, as well as the owners of future technology award recipients. The message must go forth loudly and clearly, and we've got to be part of the group that's saying it. A 2-year college is college. Let me repeat, a 2-year college is college. That is critically important for us to say if we are to satisfy the demands of our workforce. I want to take an indulgence where everyone employed by a Louisiana post-secondary institution, please stand. I would ask if you've employed by any Louisiana post-secondary institution, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. It is these folks that have managed to make Herculean success stories work amid some of the most challenging budget environments that we've had over the past 4 or 5 years. So I think that we need to be mindful of that. We need to celebrate them. And we need to let them know that we are willing to go at the elbow with them to move this needle forward. As my pastor would say, I asked him about giving a speech. He said, well, don't stay too long. So he also has an expression. He says, let me cut across the field. So in football parlance, I'm heading toward the goal line. Finally, the Louisiana Technology Council. Few organizations boast the audacious and important mission of the Louisiana Technology Council. Your LTC helps create and develop the business environments of our state in which more companies can grow and thrive. LTC aspires to be the primary resource for the strategic direction of the state's technology agenda, including industry-university interactions and workforce development. In short, LTC is a connective tissue that ensures that LED, the Board of Regents, and industry work together intentionally to build upon the forward-leaning momentum that created IBM's, CenturyLink's, GE's, EA's, and the Game Lofts that I mentioned earlier. There's a lot about which to be excited and encouraged within our state regarding technology. As LTC continues its organizational growth, its unique voice as an intercessor among industry, government, and post-secondary institutions enables our state to build upon the success stories right here among us today in this room, occurring daily in companies throughout Louisiana and in campus research laboratories across Louisiana. Today is about celebrating success, including our collective success as a state that has rebuilt itself after tragedies, natural and economic. Each of our awardees is a building block in constructing the Louisiana of tomorrow. Our state's innovation is nothing new, whether it was Madam C.J. Walker, who revolutionized the beauty and skincare industries in the early 20th century, or Dr. Michael DeBakey, who pioneered cardiovascular surgery through his inventions, or Joffrey Bean, who fashionably clothed generations across the globe. Louisianans have used their pluck, creativity, and passions to transform the world around them. No state has produced two globally recognized cuisines, as well as an enduring musical idiom, jazz. Innovation and creativity are in the bone marrow of our state. Thankfully, we can't escape it. Like the mighty Mississippi River, innovation and creativity define us and provide us with life itself. As I close, I end where I began, thinking about my dad's life credo, desiderata. In Latin, desiderata means the things wanted, needed, or necessary. I want more companies, more technology award winners. I need each of you to remain committed to this noble experiment of building a Louisiana innovation ecosystem. Finally, it's necessary for all of us to work together, to celebrate together, and encourage each other. As a state of 4.6 million people, less than the populations of the Houston, Atlanta, or Philadelphia metro areas, we cannot afford not to be united in our collective effort to create a Louisiana of tomorrow, full of young, dynamic companies that support and protect our historic economic strengths while exploring new frontiers in science and technology. Let me end by paraphrasing the concluding passage from Desiderata. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful state. Be cheerful about her future, strive to be productive, and forever creative. We have arrested any real or imagined brain drain and banished to the past the loss of our best and brightest to other states. Thank you again for allowing me to share this moment with you. Congratulations again, and may you forever enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Thank you so very much.